back. This is a special edition of Newsstream from the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. And people are roaming the halls, looking at cool new demos about the Internet of Things on AI, VR, 5G, and also principles like net neutrality. You know, that all Internet traffic, whether it's Netflix, CNN, or your favorite online game, is treated equally by the carrier. It's been a hot topic in the U.S. It's been a hot topic in some parts here in the Congress. In fact, earlier I moderated a panel with Ajit, the chair of the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, who recently announced net neutrality in the U.S. is coming to an end. ISPs, they've been thrilled by the news. Tech groups, consumer groups out there, not so much. So I asked Pai how history will judge his decision.
Absolutely, and the reason is we have experience with the Title I approach, which we adopted. As I said in my remarks, we had a market-based approach from 1996 to 2015. That approach gave us the Internet economy was the envy of the world. Companies that started off very small, like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, became worldwide players precisely because we had a market-based approach that encouraged infrastructure investment as well as innovation on the edge.
Yeah, but history also factors in public opinion. And public opinion in many corners is firmly against the repeal of net neutrality. I mean, the fact that your decision led to the Burger King ad about net neutrality rules, you know, that's a testament of something.
Well, I think generally speaking, I would hope that public opinion over time is based more on facts and less on public relations campaigns.
Or the fact that people believe that it will stifle innovation.
Well, again, I think past is prologue here. Just as the Internet hasn't ended in the 2 months since we adopted our decision, we are going to see a massive increase in innovation and investment, and I'm confident that consumers and the entire Internet economy will benefit.
U.S. FCC Chair Ajit Pai there. Now, for more on the net neutrality debate and whether less regulation is a path to American leadership and next generation mobile, a lot to get to. I'm joined by FCC Commissioner Michael O'Reilly. Thank you so much for joining us here on the program. As I mentioned, a lot to get to, but first, I do have to ask about Comcast. Comcast making that $31 billion bid for Sky. Is the FCC going to look into it?
Well, we have to look at the materials that are submitted to determine if there's any role for the FCC. So it's premature at this point.
Okay, and if you were to look into it, what would you be looking out for?
We have obligations in terms of the statute, in terms of license transfers. We just don't know. That material will be before us, if anything.
Okay, got it. Let's talk about net neutrality and the repeal of net neutrality rules. There are a lot of skeptics out there about the repeal, and I think it all comes down to the issue of Internet fast lanes. There is a fear that with no net neutrality protections, there will be no protections for a free and open Internet. So how can we make sure that ISPs will play fair?
Well, in the past, the things that we were banning in our rules that have been repealed were not practices that the carriers were doing. So we were trying to guess what the market was going to lead us to go to. And that's problematic from a regulatory perspective. It's problematic for investment. It's problematic in terms of the growth of the industry. But in terms of the prioritization issue, or what, fast lanes, in that instance, you're talking about trying to ban everything when there may be good prioritization and bad prioritization. And banning good prioritization is not a healthy activity for a regulator.
And I'm thinking in the perspective of the customer, because there's a lot of, you got to trust us people here, right? You got to trust the ISPs. And how can customers in America trust the Internet service providers when they have all the incentives to introduce tiered pricing, to pay for Internet fast lanes, or charge for Internet fast lanes, and to look out for shareholder value first, as opposed to what customers want?
Well, in fairness, they have promised that that's not where they're going. And the question of trust, well, that's why we have a U.S. Congress that has an opportunity to craft legislation that then we would follow and implement. It's not something for the Commission to guess where the market is going ahead of time.
Legal challenges, because there's a number of them. We have about 24 state attorneys general filing suit. They're coming after you. It's going to be a long battle ahead. Are you ready?
Absolutely. I think that the grounds for our repeal were strongly made by the Commission, and I think they'll sustain through the court proceedings.
Now, U.S. leadership in ICT, the Internet Communications Technology space. You come here to the Mobile World Congress, where the world is gathered here to talk about next generation technology, about 5G. The U.S. may have been the leader for the last couple of decades. What are you going to do to make sure that the Americans stay in pole position?
Well, the United States will continue to be a world leader in wireless communications. That means, one, we're going to make sure the spectrum's available, and we're doing our work at the Commission now to make more resources available, frequencies available to our carriers so they can offer new mobile services. Two, it is removing barriers to deployment so that they can get the services out to consumers and be able to bring faster, more speeds to consumers going forward.
All right. Michael O'Reilly with the FCC, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Take care.